Hey, you there. Thanks for watching. And welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder matcher on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, also known as the Blue Team. Ending with Team 2 in the Southeast, also known as Red Team. Starting off with Team 1's Western player, then going counterclockwise, we have in Stitch Blue, Team 1's Taffy. He is a UEF for this match as a 1798 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 1. To his east, we have in Royal Blue, it is Zum. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1485 rated. And last but not least for Team 1, we have in Amethyst Purple, it is Kalenkin. He is an Aeon as well for this match as a 1612 rated. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 Aeons, 1 UEF, no Cyberns, no Seraphim for Team 1. Starting up for Team 2 Southern player, then going clockwise this time, we have in Orange to color orange, Saints Row. He is a Seraphim. He is a 1489 rated, the only Seraphim in the game. To his north, we have in Chevy Crimson Furf. He is a UEF for this match as a 1462 rated player. And the only Cybern in the game here for Team 2 and in the game overall, it is Neon Marine. He is in Ruby Red at a 1942 rated. He is the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have a Cybern, a UEF, and a Seraphim. No Aeons for Team 2, but that's okay because Team 1 has 2 of them, one for quote-unquote each team, which means all of the factions are present, but as a reminder, Team 1 lacks Cybern and Seraphim, Team 2 lacks Aeon. And for the 6 players in the map, let's take a look at how much recon they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 11,000, almost 12,000 mass, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that does mean it's about 2,000 mass per player, which is actually, on average, a lot more than we normally get. So it's nice to see a little bit more reclaim per player. And, of course, there is a decent chunk of it in the middle of the map with a little bit on the southeastern and northwestern edges. We do see that there is a lot of mixes to grab in main base and a little bit further out of main base territory, but there's nothing in the middle. It also doesn't help that there's a large body of water to the northeast and the southwest. I mean, there could be mexes in there, to be fair, but at the current point there is not. But there is a decent amount of mexes. We have a tri and a quad mech position on the eastern side here for Team 1, as well as a couple of tris and a quad right here on the western side. So it is going to amount to a decent amount of mexes for everybody to grab. But there's really not going to be any fighting over mexes. There's going to be mainly denying mexes. And maybe we'll see a land invasion given this much water. But there is a land invasion possible down the middle causeway here. It's heavily annoying to deal with due to the fact that there are very thin avenues of travel. I mean, you could fit a decent amount of T2, T1s. T3s, it's going to be mostly a conga line, and then T4s is definitely going to be a conga line through the middle of the map. So I wouldn't be surprised if players kind of shift over to more of the ocean approach for now and then migrate to land a little bit. Well, speaking of land, we do see that Ferv is sending out a couple of T1 labs with a nice little snoop with some intel gathering equipment on board. Gets a little bit of vision and, of course, allowing him to be able to gain just a little bit of know-how before he invades somewhere. Team 2 does spot Zum over here to the west, which will allow these labs to ignore him and go northward. T1 Zooey inbound from Sainsbury going after the T1 land facility here for Zum. He is getting some T1 land facilities and some T1 PD here shortly to help shove away those forces inbound from Ferv. T1 bomber over the top. Most likely going to go after... Okay, I think I saw that, right? That bomber from Team 1's Taffy took out his teammate's own unit with nothing there. Am I wrong? Did I miss that? Because that's definitely looked like that's what happened. But Team 1, Zooey gets taken out, saves the naval facility. But those forces to the west have now migrated at least out of visual range for now. They can't see them yet, but they should be able to see them shortly. In the east, Team 1 Aurora inbound from Kalenkin, moving in to try to just poke and prod at those T1 mexes on board for Ferv. Ferv trying to shoo away this Spirit, but isn't able to do so due to the limitations of his comm, due to both the range and, of course, the fact that he doesn't have hover, which would kind of be a very OP ability to have if that was equipped to a comm. I feel like that would be way too OP. You'd have to put it essentially in the gun slot. Maybe you could put shields and maybe T2 or T3 engineering suite on board, but it could not in no way have any sort of offensive additional capabilities on board, because that would be way too OP. But anyway, we do see in the West, Naval facility has been denied by Team 2 Saint Row, dropping in more Zooey to shoo away Zum. Zum thinking, man, I just want to, just relax on the beach and have a fun time. But no, Team 2 is not having it in the East. Couple more Aurora really pushing back expansionary efforts for both Nyan Marine and Ferv. Kind of making it a little bit more difficult to get that mechs count up online and rolling. We do see Ferv is actually shifting eastward to deal with this. And T1 naval facilities being spammed up by Ferv to try to solidify Team 2's grasp in the Eastern Navy. We do see T2 gunship on board, which probably will kind of deny that quite quickly. T1 forces also with their comms nearby from Taffy and Zum engaging Saints Row, the first comm-on-comm action of the game. There are 2 comms here for Team 1, making that a nice little engagement for Team 1 against Team 2. Unfortunately, though, Team 2's comm is able to hide in the water, at least in Team 1's, unfortunately. But he does have T2 Navy online. He is Seraphim, which means he gets those cruiser missile nonsense. And that's probably going to shove Team 1 back at least a bit of it. But Team 1 does have volcanoes, so it is a little bit of a counter. We do see, again, similar ideas possibly here for Ferb, but he's going to get denied Navy quite handedly here by Team 1's Kalenkin. So Team 2 has Western Navy, Team 1 has Eastern Navy, and it's turning into a North v South game. T1 Strikers going after Taffy's comm. Taffy will drop pretty close to the yellows, if not actually into the yellow. But again, perfectly fine. No real concerns there. Cruiser is online. Now that is a concern. And we have a couple of forces going after Saints Row comm being like, hey, stop shooting at me. It's not nice. Go away. In the East, that's a lot of T1 spam inbound from Kalenkin. Team 2 definitely has to be concerned about that. And a couple of gunships is not going to help the situation at all, especially with Ferv's comm nearby. He will get some veterancy from this, but the Aurora really trying to just sidestep him. And any further east, and they're going to have to double back if they go along the eastern edge. A little bit of a hill here and obviously a cliffside here. T2 gunships immediately take out that radar system. Nice grab here by Kalenkin, even if that's the only thing they end up taking out, which is definitely not going to be the only thing they take out. That's going to be a grab nonetheless. We do see ASF coming in, essentially one-taps all of these gunships. Does save the other T2 mexes, but does lose one of them in turn. So I feel like 3 T2 gunships for 1 T2 mex is definitely worth it. I don't think it's worth it for the mask. I think it's maybe a little bit worth it for the mask cost, but it's mainly the mass per second that Team 2 is missing out of. That is the more crucial thing. T2 Navy online for Kalenkin going for some more. I'm assuming those are cruisers, but I can never tell the difference in the icon between cruisers and destroyers for most of the factions. Cybran, I think, is the easiest. Everyone else has essentially the same kind of form. The Seraphim, the UEF, and the Aelons definitely have the same kind of form for T2 main naval forces. But for some reason, the Cybrans have 2 different ones. I don't know why. Maybe it's because one sprouts legs. Who knows? That's just the way the designers ended up, designing them, for lack of a better word. We do see that now Marine is actually in the water over here. T1 bombers over top taking out a couple of engineers here trying to repair this T2 naval facility, which will be fine. Actually, ASFs are inbound as well as some interceptors from the other players on Team 2. Team 1 sitting at 250, Team 2 220, so no real super out there lead here for Team 1, but that is definitely something to be concerned about as the game progresses, if that lead is extended or not. We do see Destroyer online for Kalenkin. He did go for the Destroyer. Surprisingly, he didn't go for the Cruiser, just to lock down air over top, especially with bombers like this coming in and taking out a nice little squad or so of Aurora. We do see interceptors inbound will intercept them, and it will take them out quite easily. It looks like Team 1 has been pushed back a little bit on that western side. The cruisers coming in and just saying, no, go away. Volcanoes need to be spammed up immediately. There are some TMD being built back here, so it looks like Zum is going to just cut his losses. He's not going to be able to keep the beach just because Team 2 could easily deploy destroyers, especially the laser ones, and wipe everything out on the front line anyway. So having a nice further back defensible position, getting that online sooner rather than later, and at least keeping some of the losses away from his coffers. We do see gun range has been started for Kalinkin. He has, advanced range. He has speed and regular range on board. He's nowhere near the front line, so I'm surprised that he actually went for it. We do see a couple of hover tanks inbound for Ferv going after the T2 Naval headquarters, which might be nice, but those hover units are moving in closer to the land, which means Kalinkin will be able to fire on them here shortly. Gunships over top will actually assist with that. Looks like a lot of them get wiped out very, very quickly. Give Kalinkin a little bit of veterancy, get him up to close to 2. He's about 1.5 so far. Looks like those Riptides will be done and dusted here shortly. Again, Team 1 spam facilities, nothing really concerning there. Again, it's annoying, but at the end of the day, it's not really that mission critical. We do see, of course, the destroyer off the shoreline going after the rest of these frontline trimexes over here. There's also one more over here that Aurora might be trying to go after. That Aurora actually has some veterancy on board, are repping up 2 hit points a second. Look at that, 2 hit points a second region. That's all he can get. T2 radar system now either rebuilt or built by Ferv. It's pretty close to the middle. I would say in this case, you can't put it in the direct middle because Navy would probably swipe it pretty quickly. But you could probably put it, I mean, maybe right here, something like that, just so it's further into Team 1's territory, and it's pretty much protected by the Navy in the south. So essentially, if a land invasion comes in, that'd be the only thing that takes it out, or just a random bomber or gunship. But still, attack missile inbound gets shot down by Team 1's TMD, and that is due to the fact that Sainsborough has missile on board. And it looks like another missile is inbound for this T2 mech here for Zum, and he's going to lose 9 mass a second for that. Another missile inbound quite quickly after the first one. Is he going to build a TMD in time? No, it's going in for that T3 mechs. It doesn't kill off the T3 mechs, but it almost does. 6,000 hit points on board that thing. We do see some ASF trying to lock out Team 2's air, which they've done a little bit of that, but nothing too bad, to be honest with you. Again, it's only 19 minutes on the clock, and having a squadron or so more of ASFs is nice, but I don't really know if it's that important to really just throw everything at your opponent just to try to lock out for 15, 20 seconds. Now, if the transports were already in position, that would be a different story, but they're not, so yeah. It does look like that Team MX does get saved by some volcanoes that got spam built. So a little bit unfortunate for Team 2, but fortunately for Team 1, he got that up nice and quickly. T2 gunships actually don't go that way and go east and actually get shot at by a nice little skyboxer in the little canyon there. Or valley there, I should say, not canyon. No, that's more valley. Yeah, it's more valley than canyon. This canyon would be not necessarily below sea level, but then you have like the, I don't want to say normal existing elevation and then the canyon below versus the other way around. That's more of a valley than a canyon. Anyway, T2 units stacking up here, protecting the frontline facilities now being built by these engineers, getting a stealth field and a shield. I feel like the shield would be better first, but that's, here nor there. T2 PD to try to shoo away the rest of the land forces here from Ferv and everybody else on Team 2. And trying to establish a beachhead on that side of the map. Now, we're seeing 2 different approaches. Team 1 going for more of the we take Navy, then take land. Team 2 is like, we'll take Navy, deny all of the mexes, and just go do something else. The mass investment here for Team 1 is growing, almost 100. It is a little bit over 100 mass for Team 1 in favor, but that number continues to go back and forth. Missile outbound here on that T2 naval headquarters going for T3. It's actually being repaired very quickly. Now the missile will not be able to take it out. One more is not going to be able to do it. It looks like Team 1 is actually repping up roughly quicker than that missile could be built and then shot at their opponent. So honestly, it's essentially just a really weird equilibrium that both of these players are sitting at. All they have to do is get a TMD over here, and that would be it. Another one. Oh, it drops. Okay, it's going to be one more. It has to get below 6,000 before the missile strikes. It's going to be close. There it is. The T2 Naval Headquarters for Kalenkin gets denied. And the frontline facility is still online for now. I'm not going to say it's going to be there forever, but at least for now. Omni is online, which, unfortunately for that stealth field generator, does absolutely nothing. Meaning that, you know, a stealth field generator does nothing in the face of an Omni. So I like the attempt, but does not go very well. TAC missile starting here for Team 2's FERV. So 2 TAC missiles here for Team 2 here soon. And, of course, Billy Nuke is possible by Team 2 and Team 1, but Taffy has not invested in missiles that I have seen as of yet. So only Team 2 is at that potentiality. We do see a couple of restores over the top going after Saints Row's comm. He fires a missile in the air. I don't know if he was going for the gunships or not. Maybe it was by accident, but almost actually hits one of those gunships. Denies another naval facility. That does look like Saints Row has to retreat in the face of all of that Zooey spam, and T2 destroyers moving in to intercept that comm. They really don't like the fact that they're throwing missiles at him. But to be fair, Team 1 has 2 Aeons. The fact that they don't have more TMD online, especially that they've known that there's at least one comm throwing missiles at everybody, it's not unfortunate, but just something that should have been built a little bit sooner. Does look like the destroyer gets hit by a TMD. It doesn't have TMD on board. It has torp defense. One more TAC missile will actually take out that destroyer, and then it's going to take 2 more to shoot at that one and destroy at least 2 if it somehow diverts a missile. Raz started here for Sandro, trying to get a little bit more mass into his coffers. Team 2 has caught up considerably. Now it's back to that 30, 40 mass lead for Team 1 instead of the 100 or so that Team 1 was sitting at a little bit a moment ago. Nobody has died. 25 minutes on the clock, which I'm not going to say is super rare. It's a little bit rare for ladder matches, but because of the way that the map has been generated by the map generator, it kind of lessens the ideas of, oh, let me just send my comm forward and build a forward operating base and try to secure the middle of the map. The middle of the map has nothing in it, and there's a bunch of Navy on both sides. It's kind of like Satins. Let's just hang back. And so pretty much that's what everybody is doing. The only player that's been kind of venturing a little bit further out, at least in the mid to late game, has been Saints Row. He's underneath some shield coverage, sitting next to Furf, who also has missile on board. T2, T3 land army to the east, engaging the base that's trying to be established here by Kalenkin. There are some Percys in the mix, which will help out severely in thinning these numbers out, especially the higher HP units. But if they sit there and just be bombarded by T2 PD, it's not going to do much. And again, the Percys don't really have AoE. It's essentially a single target shot. It's like a bolt rifle. A single shot, not single shot, single action bolt rifle. Essentially, it's fired, reload, fire, reload, fire, reload. I think I said that right. I'm not a super knowledgeable about all guns and receivers and how all that's named, but it's I'm learning. There's still some TMD built. Those Percys are going to deal with most. Oh, there's more over here. Never mind. No, they're not going to deal with all of them. Corsairs inbound going to take out the TMD. Now that's going to be a thing. And unless more engineers are built, there's no T2s here. Looks like this base will eventually be taken out, and the radar gets taken out. So, yeah, not great for Team 1 on the eastern side. Nuke has been spotted by Nya, and it has been almost built. And it is the Apocalypse. We saw a lot of these in the last video, the last cast, and I mean, that's why they are called Apocalypse, because it could be a Apocalypse event if a bunch of them are built, fired, and loaded. Or loaded then fired. You can't fire them without loading them first. SMD being built by FERV to protect the center of Team 2's bases. There is a backup SMD over here. That's going to be perfectly fine for Now Marine. He needs to protect. FERV needs to protect himself and try to at least help assist Saints Row as well. I feel like if it was a little bit further west, it'd be better, but at least it covers most angles. It's just that far western side. It's going to have a nice angle on Saints Row's base. Unless Saints Row is building an SMD now and I'm just completely just blowing smoke, which is entirely possible, but looks like he's just focusing on air expansion, which looks like Team 2, everybody has T3 air tech. Team 1, everybody has T3 air tech. Essentially, when you don't have land and Navy's kind of just existing, you have to do something else. So it's air, 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 and more air for both teams. And again, Team 2 has Seraphim, Cybran, and UEF. Team 1 has UEF and Aeon, so they have broadswords and restorers. Team 2 has broadswords and whalers. So a little bit more air-to-ground focus for Team 2 and a little bit more air-to-air focus, especially the restorers. And the only player who can't build T3 gunships is going to be Saints Row. But he does have cruiser missile fire, and he also has the Awasa bomber. He has a lot of options in air or anti-air, so he's not completely out of the fight just yet in terms of that. Looks like Team 2 has evicted Team 1 from the land. A couple of destroyers just trying to take some pot shots at these Perseus, and it looks like Team 2's FAF is having none of it, absolutely none of it when it comes to anything near that beachhead. It's his beach. He paid for it. It's his territory. He's trying to fence it off. Nobody can come on without permission from him or his teammates. And we do see the Saints was going for ARAS in that little shield position that FAF set up. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game at 31.5 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, because why not at this point, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you so very much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it as we near the new year. It is the day before New Year's Day. It is New Year's Eve. I'm recording this on New Year's Eve. Yep, I said that right. So a couple days away from 2025, which is just insane. It's going to take me a month before I actually write the correct year down, because I don't know what it is, but just you're so used to writing one particular year that when the next year ticks over, you're like, oh yeah, it's 2025 now, huh? Do you see that TMD base is fired up and ready to go? Look at that thing. There is no missile getting through that. And Nuke is outbound. Where is it going? Where is it going? It's going for this base for FAF. For FAF, you're walking into where the Nuke is going to be. Ooh, his SMD is going to load in time. It's going to be a little close, but the Nuke is already halfway there. And that yellow line is going to finish. There it is. Nuke going to make a turn. Oh, so about like 2 or 3 seconds maybe. And it would have been fine for Team 1. And that Nuke would have not only taken out a chunk of FAF's base, but FAF himself. But nope, he is not down. And he is perfectly fine. Probably like, whew, good thing I built that SMD when I did. It looks like there was assistance for both sides. So that was really the only thing that kept Team 2 FAF, at least in the game, was the fact that he had some assistance constantly loading that SMD. And he's loading a second one as well, just in case, because you can never be too careful. He has a backup one over there. And there's now a... Well, actually, there was one loaded over here just now by Saints Row, so he did build an SMD. And I just didn't pay attention. So everybody on Team 2 was protected, so no worries there. Oh, there she is. T3 Torrent class missile ship is online. So while Team 2 has the missiles in the south, Team 1 has the missiles in the north. And the benefit of Team 1 having missiles, at least in their purview, is they have better range on board that nice little Torrent class missile ship. Team 2, Saints Row, has AA coverage as well. Not as well, but on their cruisers, but the range not as far. So definitely something to be concerned about here for Team 1, or at least for Team 2, especially for the eastern side of their, well, actually that's northern side of their lineup, but eastern side of the map. And the shield's already being poked and prodded by that missile ship. There's only one so far. I would surmise that, yep, there's going to be another one built here shortly, and it's just going to be bombardment, 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 and more bombardment all day, every day. There's some Team D over here, but missiles are coming in so quickly. Team D's being taken out very, very fast. Another nuke outbound from Team 1. This time it's actually from a back nuke here from Taffy. Ooh. I don't know. There's a lot of engineer supports going to support it. Nope. No, it's not going to be fast enough. Oh, no, Corsairs, you got to move. You got to get out of range of that nuke. That's not good. And boom! Takes out the air grid for Ferv. Takes out the SMD as well. Nice little 2-1 punch there from Taffy. And that is not great for Team 2's air or Team 2's... actually, their eco is not too bad, but just the protection is not super great. SMD half loaded over here. So it might be enough. But there is an attack from the north with those restorers coming in to just shove away those Corsairs who are obviously going after the missile ship, because what else would they go after? There also was a Colossus over here that Team 2 took out. So a little bit of mass dumping, but nothing too critical. It looks like power issues here for Team 2's Ferv, I would imagine. Oh, yeah, not good. Got to fix that. Gotta fix that. Give me 2 PGens, please. Says Ferv, and I'm not clicking on the wrong thing because I'm not paying attention. Artillery has been started and already in the yellow here for Neon Marine. In the north, anything counter artillery here for Team 1. Air grid, nuke, shields, more TMD, more AA. Yeah, no artillery so far here for Team 1, at least that I have noticed. So Team 2, it isn't a full 20 by 20 map, so it should reach pretty much everything on the map. Pretty much. It doesn't reach the back, but there's nothing back there, so no worries there, at least for Team 2's sake. There are, of course, a satellite now online here for Taffy, so that's going to be a concern for Team 2, which may encourage Team 2 to invest in laser tech as well. But there is a nuke online and almost loaded for Saints Row. There is a Colossus inbound. This little fire base that stood for a while is now going to be taken out. Omni, still, there it is. Just a bare swipe of the laser. We'll shove the Colossus away. There is a crab now. Again, shoving said Colossus back from Saints Row. Looks like it was gifted over from Neon Marine, but maybe Neon Marine gifted over the engineer, because I don't see any engineers in the Cybertech here for Saints Row, so that's a thing. He's stacking up these amount of Notha fighter bombers as well. The Team D, it's not holding. He's getting some shields online. The SMD is the most important thing that Team 2 cannot lose over there. It opens a door for another nuke to come in from Taffy. Nuke is now online for Saints Row. There is an SMD. It is about to load, so that's going to get killed if it does fire. It could go north and try to clip the air grid a little bit, and Nuke will launch. Does it go for the center? Does it go for the air grid? What does it go for? And it looks like, don't tell me it's going for naval stuff, because I don't think it's going to be worth. Oh, no, it's okay. It's going to go for the base. It's going to clip the base here, and you can see Clink and no. Oh, it might be close. Spy planes over top are going to get a readout right before the nuke lands. SMD is loading. It's going to be close. Is there a rogue SMD somewhere from Team 1 that's going to protect it? Nope. And nope. And the missile will turn it. Try to go after Kalenkin. It doesn't get him, but it's going to get a huge chunk of his air grid. Boom! And gets a couple of mexes as well. Oh, look. T3 artillery has been started. There it is by Kalenkin as well. So that is something to watch out for on top of that. And I do like the fact, I don't mean to zoom in and out all the time, but I think the shield is perfectly positioned to do that normal, T3 PGen with the shields formation or template. So it is T2, but at least it's a shield, so it's something. Another nuke outbound. It's a counter nuke from Team 1's. Looks like that's Zum going after this position here for Ferv. It's just trying to snipe at whatever Team 2, Team 1 has. That was a great counter grab here by Team 2, though. Essentially puts both teams at roughly the same spot for essentially how many air bases there are, because Team 2 lost one and then Team 1 lost one. So that is something. Kalenkin does have some SACUs that will help with his power consumption. And he's gating them in constantly all the time, of course. The facility actually did survive the explosion, so that's always nice to see. T2 almost done at T3 here for him. But he is going to just heavily invest in his artillery. And kaboom! Takes out mexes here for Team 2 as well. So again, lots of nuke going through the atmosphere and down onto land here between both teams. but I don't think it's really going to be the only thing that wins either team the game. It's going to be something else. Air grid getting shielded. Love to see that. Artillery is done. It's been heavily shot at, though. Looks like there was a SACU teleportation, maybe? Or a... oh, this guy taken out, so maybe... oh, and that kind of looks like artillery shells, to be honest with you. But there isn't anything built from Team 1 yet. Oh, it could be laser. Ah, it could be nullbacks is possibly what that is. No, but there's no lines, so... I don't know. Maybe that is Strat Bomber, but I don't see any wrecks, so... it doesn't tell me. Another T3 mech's taken out back here. It's not really telling me... it's not showing me that wreck that I would expect to see. Another nuke outbound, this time from Team 1, going after the group of cruisers in the water. And yeah, it's going to be nice to alleviate a little bit of pressure, but they're not really doing anything. That's their maximum range, and not all of them are shooting at said range. So realistically, it's not... I mean, it's nice to have that just not be an issue anymore, but I don't think it was worth the nuke. In my opinion, most of those cruisers are not going to get away. Actually, most of them control K before they even get the chance to explode. A destroyer gets taken out, and that mass in terms of killed from the nuke is severely denied. But, you know, kaboom. It takes out a couple of other ships, but at the minimum, you know, it wasn't really that important. We do see artillery landing in on the emissary position for Kalinkin. Again, not a good place to stand, but he does have a decent amount of shielding, both some T2s and T3s. But he should be fine. He's getting shields all the time. Soon to be a UEF shield as well. So love to see that included in there. Sharing of technology is lovely in this game. Large group of gunships, both T2 and T3. There's a couple of Perseus, which, yeah, not good lifespan, those Perseus, especially sitting right there. Another group of spy planes inbound from Neon Marine to get a little bit of readout what Team 1 is up to. I do love all of the scouting from Team 2. Just, again, it's not just one or two spy planes, it's just a horde of them inbound. Because some of them are not going to make it through. But, you know, some of them do. AA being built in layers, so it will take out, again, lines and lines of aircraft from Team 2. But some do pierce the intelligence blackout that Team 1 is trying to create for Team 2. Again, like I said, artillery is online. Missing a P-Gen here, but nothing too dangerous. They are heavily rebuilt or repairing it, but I feel like all of that mass could be spent on a different artillery piece. I mean, I get it. You don't want to have your artillery piece at, you know, half health, but I mean, that's a lot of mass and energy that could be devoted into something else. What is going on over here? SMD taken out by the satellite. Nice grab there. Shield gets built a little bit too late in that regard. More shields are kind of just shield creeping over there. SMD being rebuilt here to cover for the loss of that one. There is a... is there a tiny hole? It covers to that T3 mix. So as long as this one covers to that T3 mix... oh yeah, there isn't an SMD hole, but it is at least nice to see that trying to be solidified entirely. Now there's artillery being thrown at both sides here. T3 is done. SMD being loaded as we speak. Does not want another nuke to come crashing down. And honestly, again, there's no SMD actually over on that eastern side. So if a nuke is loaded, which it's... oh, that's a missed opportunity. That nuke is loaded. Could have fired and taken out the emissary. There is not an SMD nearby. Huge, huge missed opportunity. Because Zum's SMD covers to that, and there is definitely a line straight to that artillery piece. Ooh, that's, again, a missed opportunity, but could be distracted doing something else, so can't completely criticize, but it is something to point out. We do see that still that's crab over there. Artillery being started by Ferv. And nothing else for Saints Row. Looks like he's focused on other endeavors, going for T3 engineering suite on board that comm. With a little bit more HP. That SMD is now loaded and will deny any mexes, not mexes, but any nukes inbound. At least the first one. For now, Team 1 building anything spicier. In the background, we do see satellite once again started. Another artillery piece started. This time it's by Zum. So 1 soon to be 2 and 1 soon to be 2 for Team 2. They're on pace relatively with one another, but I think Team 1's going to finish their second artillery piece before Team 2 will. And Satellite coming online here for Saints Row. Interestingly enough, he doesn't go for his own T3 artillery piece. And again, he has another nuke about to be loaded, so he has 2 nukes soon to be in that silo. Got to fire those nukes sooner rather than later. You don't want to lose them due to the silo being destroyed. Looks like looks like there's probably just the AoE spread for that artillery piece. Satellite over top trying to target the emitters, but it's not going to break the shielding at this point. 1 satellite, 1 artillery is not enough. You need a little bit more than that, especially with assistance all underneath that thing. Yeah, good luck doing that. Second artillery spotted by Ferv, and it is almost done. T3 Pigeon right next door. Might be a nice target to take out, but the volatile explosion won't happen until it's actually constructed. There goes the second artillery. It looks like Team 2 trying to split the difference almost by striking in the middle, and essentially the spread on the artillery just enough to maybe cover both of them. But I think they're still focused just on the one from Kalenkin. Again, we'll point out 46 minutes on the clock and nobody has died yet. So these players being very reserved and saying, hey, we're going to hang back and not do super crazy plays, which could work out and sometimes will not work out. So it just depends on the everything, but at least at a minimum they're alive, so can't diss them for that. Mid is being brought online here from the Seraphim faction to protect this artillery installation. Love that. Again, the Cybern ones, not great. The UEF ones are good. I wish that was a T3 one, but there is some layering of defenses going on. Second artillery piece is landing in though. Not great here. The shields are starting to collapse. There's some being built constantly though, and of course I think this one's being assisted majorly, so it's going to be the main one. I feel like this one would be a better one because it covers everything, but kind of leaves a little bit of a gap for that northwestern side. And it also covers it almost covers the T3 air headquarters. Actually, if you notice, there's a tiny little gap right there. So if the satellite was positioned exactly right, it could actually strike the T3 Pigeon right there, but it's a very slim chance of that happening, so not really worth trying to invest your time and effort into that, at least at the moment. Looks like shift has been, or focus has been shifted. I should say not shift has been focused, but focus has been shifted over to this artillery piece. Possibly a second one going to be built right here where my cursor is. So soon to be 3 artillery pieces for Team 1. Team 1 also sitting at 2 satellites, soon to be 3, and a backup SMD. Love to see that just in case the front 2 go down. I would love to see one more SMD somewhere on this eastern side, maybe over here, just to have some sort of extra protection. But, at least if the one that they have is shielded up, TMD'd up, PD'd up, no real issues. Billy Nuke outbound. Going for, looks like this position of T3 mexes. Looks like a shield is going to be built, but I don't think it's going to be built in time. Team 1 doesn't have access to Loyalist tech because they're not Cyberns. Well, there are no Cyberns on board for Team 1, so it's only TMD. Here comes the little Billy Nuke, and boom! Takes out all those mexes, takes out the emitter they were building. So that is 27 times 3. That is 81 mass a second. I had the calculation in my head, and then I lost it, and I got it back again. And again, like I said, emitters being built all the time. There's starting to be a little bit more of exposure going on. And Young Marine being like, hey, something's going on to something. I don't know why he's being pinged. But maybe they're trying to target him. Ooh, the T3 Pigeon goes down. Not great. And actually takes out another air facility with it. There's a lot of not good things happening to the air grid for Team 2. Laser is done. Starting gun. Gun is done for Nyan Marine. He's going for teleportation, I would assume. But the air grid, my friend, is not looking good. Shields are down. They're trying to recharge. And that's a couple of Pigeons. Not going to be good to keep his shields online long term. He's sitting at plus 11,000, so if he loses, let's say about half a dozen or so, it's not a good day. SMD goes down. That's also not good. There's backup SMDs right here. So nothing too crazy there, but still Nuke is loaded. A third one about to be loaded, and that has Stue launch something at your opponent at this point. Because you got to break the defenses one way or the other, and one artillery is not going to do it. Second artillery now under the control of Zum. Looks like it's going to be gifted over to... Yep, there it is. Going to be gifted over to Kalenkin here shortly. There are the emissaries. And look at them in all of their glory. These things are nasty. Actually, he hasn't been given a target yet. So we'll see if... No. No. Oh, come on. Are you gonna move? Hey, there it is. Just took a second for probably Team 2 to recognize. Or for Team 1. Oh, yeah, that is online. Second Duke, of course, is online. Team 2 has 2. Team 1 has 3. Team 2 has almost 3 nukes loaded and a third artillery piece almost online for Saints Row. Again, the only difference is Team 1 has 3 already and Team 2 is about to have 3. Ooh, the satellites are the target. It looks like it's satellite on satellite crime. Look at this. One artillery shell lands right here. It's going to be the death of both of these. T2 shields being spammed up. There goes one of the satellites. That shield will not protect it, but this one will. Nice grab there. Alleviate a little bit of the overhead damage, but I think the damage has kind of already been done. Ooh, that's going to be a nice hit. Takes out actually only the air facility. All the pigeons are fine. That's not going to be great. More that. Ooh. Slowly eating away at the power generation here for Neon Marine. He's not looking so good. If his shields fall, there goes that entire artillery installation. There is a little bit of overflow from Team 2's other players, so that will help save him a little bit, but still, he's not doing great, at least in terms of keeping his shielding online, keeping the lights on. Third artillery is almost done for Saints Row. It's going to be 3 players having their own artillery pieces versus Team 1 having one of their players having all of the artillery. Fourth artillery installation coming online for Kalenkin. And that second satellite is starting to be a little bit more exposed. The third satellite actually is online. Shielding is down. So that's not going to be good here for Team 1. ASF's coming in to protect against artillery bombardment, it looks like, but they're not targeting that, so I don't get why they are... Oh, the SMD almost gets hit. That could be a little dangerous for Team 1. Takes out a couple more engineers. This SMD is fine, and this SMD is fine, so as long as those two stand... Explosion to the east, another Billy Nuke takes out a couple of naval units, but again, Navy in this game is kind of just... They're there. They're hanging out. Nothing too crazy. Essentially, the same amount of stuff is lost on both sides, so there's not a huge advantage except for Team 2's T3 mexes over here to the east. That's essentially the only thing that they have that far north. Looks like Ferv is also having power problems. Artillery raining in, takes out the... takes out this artillery piece here for Ferv. They switch targets from the heavily defended position to the less defended position. And that is not great in the time that I was distracted by other means and other things. Nuke is at 3 nukes loaded. Artillery will now get a nice little satellite friend next door. Teleporter started and then canceled for Neon Marine. Lots of mass being sent to Neon Marine. I guess he wanted... Did he do that by accident? Oh, yeah, he's like, okay, I don't have the power to do teleporter. Never mind. Yeah, it's not a good idea to do upgrade to teleporter when you don't have power to spare. Fourth artillery piece is online. 53 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 is just running away with it with artillery pieces. Please tell me you're building number 5. Ooh, some of the artillery has now been, or the shielding has been breached. Ooh, this one could go down. I think these ones over to the west will be fine, but there goes a couple of emitters. Shielding trying to be rebuilt pretty quickly. Shielding comes back online. This T3 Pigeon is about dead. This emitter protects the artillery piece. Ooh, and they're trying to regen the shielding as much as possible, or regen the capacity at least. Double artillery shot. Not enough. The SMD, that would have been actually the best thing to take out at that point. Artillery over here takes out the shielding for now. Another shielding going to be rebuilt and recharged. Ooh, that could have been very, very bad here. Nice micro in there by Kalinkin. Saves that artillery piece. Like I said, that SMD going down would have actually killed... Actually would have killed everything over here, because that would have gone down. Maybe this SMD would have protected a little bit of the... Well, at least maybe these two artillery pieces, but it would have at least maybe taken out these two right here. Fifth one is started here by Zum. Zum's building them, funding them, and then Kalinkin is pointing them at his opponent. Nuke is not outbound from Team 2. It's outbound from Team 1. Yep. Oh, it's this Nuke right here. And it is outbound for this position. That's going to be the second Nuke that Ferv receives. Man, he's being bombarded this game by nukes. Very unfortunate there, but there is a hole in Team 2's SMD defense. Loaded, says Ferv. Oh, it takes it. Oh, this SMD right here takes it out. Never mind. So there's that. Again, launch a nuke or two at this point. I mean, I get it. You don't want to waste them, but loading them and never firing them is almost as bad as not having them at all. Almost. Not as bad, but it's almost as bad. Teleporter is done for Nya Marine. And his power grid and shield grid is perfectly fine. Will he teleport in? Again, he has no upgrades. He has gun and laser. There is a lot of PD nearby, and Team 2 is going to be definitely aware of that. I mean, the only thing at this point is take out the... If he goes in, sacrifices himself, and takes out the SMD, and then Team 2, Sainsborough comes in and at least nukes this portion, and then maybe if they grab that up there, that might be enough. Explosion happens somewhere. I don't even know where it happened. I honestly don't know where it happened. I mean, no, because that was the nuke. Yeah, I don't know where the heck that happened, but it sounds like an SACU anyways, just because there's no dead comms. 56 minutes on the clock here. There is an avenue for Team 2 to win this game. Another base with SMD is taken out. There's still this SMD over here. If that falls, the entire eastern side is not protected by SMDs, so that would be a win here for Team 1 if they took out the one of the two remaining artillery pieces for Team 2. Nuke is about to have 4 loaded. You gotta fire that thing at some point. Oh, it's just... It's hard because, obviously, given all vision and pausing and whatnot, you can be like, you could do this, you could do this, this is what your opponent's doing. I have the benefit of that, and we do it, and everybody watching it does as well. These players don't. So that is something to be taken into consideration. I will point out, though, I don't think Team 2 has enough ASFs to fight this. 107 with 100 bingo on fuel, so let's just say 150 due to the lack of maneuverability on those ones, and they're not even in the fight at this point. Looks like Taffy has all the air power. 376 with Zum's 2, so 600 plus for Team 1. Yeah, that's a 3-to-1 advantage. Another nuke outbound from Team 1, and it is going eastward. It's trying to land on the base over here. SMD is not loaded, but it will be loaded in time. It's just not going well for Team 2. They tried to launch a land assault, but this is not going to go very far. They're going to get to maybe not even the SMD. This would be an instance where going after that SMD is far more important, because you could maybe do an edge nuke, right? Oh, artillery actually hits the couple of ASFs there. Oh, another group gets taken out by ASFs. Another group gets taken out by ASFs. Or I should say another artillery piece takes out a couple of ASFs. That's probably the way to put it. I'm trying to do math in terms of... no, I don't think there's a nuke close enough, essentially. Yeah, the SMDs are the target. Looks like a little bit more focus is now going down on this artillery base. But like I said, I think the SMDs for Team 2 are the linchpin here. They take that out, and that might be a game right there, because Team 2's Sainsborough has 4 loaded and has now just lost his Duke. Still has his 2 satellites, but not much after that. And I want to point out that Mayvor has been thought about here by Ferv, because he mentions it in the chat. No teleportation as of yet from Nya Marine. Nobody has died. 58 minutes on the clock. Will we get to an hour and nobody dies? Will we get to an hour? I don't think... it's going to be close possibly because the game ends about 102, 103. So we got less than 4 minutes. So something crazy happens or some team just goes, nope, we're good, see you, bye. And artillery still not breaching the shield defenses. There is now 5 artillery pieces online. No amount of shielding is going to keep up against that thing. 4.5 nukes are loaded. Artillery raining in, takes out one of the satellites, takes out a huge chunk of the emitters around it as well, and some PGens. It's not a good day here for Team 2. This artillery piece is still fine. This one is actually almost in the green, but I don't think that's going to matter. And this one is not even in the yellow. It should be in there. Should be. Oh, it's at 37, right? Yeah, there it is. It's in the yellow now. 4 artillery pieces targeting that one artillery. Ooh, yeah, not good for Team 2's artillery. And here comes another barrage. A lot of engineers are going to go down in this mess. Now Marine. Oh, there goes just a nice little insta-kill there. Being like, nope, see ya, bye. Not dealing with that no more. Team 2 has lost their last active artillery piece. And Team 1 has 5. So the numbers definitely favor Team 1 by a lot. That's GG, I guess, says Ferv. I mean, there was an avenue. If they took out the SMDs and fired the nukes, that would have, I wouldn't say that would have been game, that would have put them in a lot better position and at least alleviated a lot of the pressure, at least from maybe half of the artillery. Not all of them, but at least 2 of them at a minimum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going down where Ferv's building his. Oh, yeah, that thing is dead and gone instantaneously. Will Sainsborough load all 5 nukes into that strategic missile launcher? I don't know. 1 hour on the clock. Nobody died. 1 hour. Woohoo! I think that's a cast record, or a channel record, I should say, is 1 hour and nobody has died. And it's just not looking good here. This base for Sainsborough is just has a lot of holes in it. Trying to build another Duke. He's back up in the yellow, to be fair. He's building it pretty quick, but yeah, I just don't know if all that mass and energy for those nukes was really worth it. You should have tried Telebilly, says Sainsborough. I mean, that would have been an attempt, but I think there's too much Team D. Granted, it looks like... Oh, now Marine teleports in. He kills off the SMD here. He's not going to get away. There's too much PD nearby. He did take out an SMD. I think he should have taken out that one, to be fair. There is a lot of T1 PD there, though. The range on those, if he was standing right here, I think he would still be in range. Yeah, but a lot of T2 PD would have shot at him. But it is now officially a 3v2 game in favor of Team 1. Again, 1 hour plus is when the first player died. Billy plus Artie equals 1 artillery war. I mean, yeah, it just depends on what you take out with the Billy. If you take out some shield strength, yeah, that's nice, but it's not going to win the battle. If the Billy takes out some stuff like emitters, and then the artillery comes in and takes it out, that'd be a different story. Nuke finally outbound from Team 2, Sainsborough. Please tell me you fire more than just one of those. Oh, that might actually just be one.
Strategic launch detected.
One more. Is that a perfect shot? Is that a perfect shot inbound? Oh, just barely south of it. Will the shields pop back online? Yeah, no. No. Nuke outbound from Team 1. Looks like it's just going for Sainsborough's base. He does have an SMD, and it is loaded, so that is something. Calm on a transport. I think he gets spotted by Team 1. He's going to try to drop. He does drop. He's going to fire a Billy Nuke, but it's probably not going to go anywhere. There's a lot. Oh, there's no Team D up there. Nuke lands right here. Kaboom! Takes out a couple of mexes. Sainsborough control Ks, leaving Ferv, the last remaining player on Team 2. And he's going to try to go for this PD and where the SMD was, but I don't think it's going to crack the shielding. Yeah, it's not going to crack the shielding. He needs at least another Billy, and even then. And there goes Ferv. He control Ks. The game is over. 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 7 seconds on the clock. Team Team 1 wins the game. MVP for me. I mean, everybody on Team 1 did a very good job with what they were tasked with. Team 1's Taffy went for nukes and satellites and then a bunch of air. Did very well with that. Zum did very good with his air when he had it. Well, I guess he had a little bit of air, but not too much. I should say Klinkin did very well with his air when he had it. Then he went for artillery. But Zum really just funded a lot of Klinkin's artillery. He built 4 of them. So it really allowed... Oh, look, they were building... Oh, they were almost done. So you build 5 artillery pieces, and you're like, let's build a Paragon, because why not at that point? I mean, it's nice to spend all that mass, and it looks like both of the Aeons were actually building it very quickly, to be fair, but not really needed at that point. But anyway. Zum builds all the artillery, most of it, and then Klinkin fires it. So again, everybody did very well with what they were doing and what they were assigned to do, whatever the case may be. Team 2, I feel like, again, had an emphasis been a little bit more on the SMDs. The nukes fired sooner than the one that was just fired and didn't do anything because it was shot down anyway. That might have been the ticket in for Team 2 to at least get back in this game at that point in the game. But especially when the artillery shields went down and this was exposed, and that would have been very, very close, I think. But yeah, it's just not super great. But, Team 2 did hold out. 1 hour, nobody died. I mean, that is something, to be fair. But MVP, I really don't have one for Team 1. Just because there wasn't like a really, really, really big standout player. It was just they all did well. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And I will see all of you in the next one.